Hi everyone, it's Kirsten here for another Thursday Spa Business Break where I'm talking about your spa business and helping you make it easier, helping you make it go smoother, helping you come up with ideas. And today I'm going to help you figure out how to get your growth projects done this summer and still be able to enjoy some personal time when the sun is shining and everybody else seems to be taking their holidays. I'm sure the last thing you feel like doing is feeling sorry for yourself, stuck in your office or wherever you do your admin work, while everybody else is having fun in the summer. It's just no fun. So a lot of being a spa entrepreneur, especially if this is your busiest time of the year, has to do with making decisions about what's important to you. What do you want to prioritize? If you follow me, you know that I'm all about prioritizing, because the fact of the matter is that you can't do everything. You can't do everything that you want to do, so you're going to have to decide what your priorities are and then take your action steps from there. So today I want to share with you a tool that I use and have been using for I think well over a year now, and I use it so often that it's just part of my life now, and how I organize my time and how I make sure that I'm getting those prioritized tasks done. So I figured that you might want to know what this tool is so that you can implement it into your daily practice, because you know what? We've all got 163 hours a week to be able to get what we need to have done. So I know sometimes it feels like you get stuck in this concept of having a 40-hour work week and feeling like you have to put everything in there because you've got other commitments, you've got family commitments, you've got friends, you've got time that you want to make for yourself. So the tool that I use on a regular basis, and I also use, I share this with my clients, is my weekly time blocking schedule. And it's going to be backwards because it's a Facebook Live, but I made this schedule earlier in the year for my group coaching, the Spa Business Labs. And I've just uploaded it to the Spa Business Lab Facebook support group today to help the labbies start prepping for our start next Monday, or on Monday the 4th. And the reason why I've tasked them with this particular action step is because I know however much they want to complete their growth project, to hit that goal at the end of their lab time with me, the fact is that our schedules and where we put our time can be one of those places that can blow up our project and not get it done. So let's start with the first things first, is we got to get control over our schedule. And it's not so much control, it's just, again, making the decision, what's important to you. So the weekly time blocking schedule is I've got it in a PDF form. Now, if you would like a copy of this, I would be happy to send it to you. You just type in the comments that you would like it sent to you, and I will send it to you via Facebook Messenger. So all you have to do is just type in, me please, I'll have one. So yeah, let me know if you want a weekly time blocking schedule PDF, and I will send that off to you. Now, how do you use this time blocking schedule? Basically, it goes from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m. And it's broken down into half-hour increments. And what you do is, the first step is to decide what your priorities are. And you've got two camps. You got your work priorities and you got your personal priorities. With your work priorities, you're also going to be further organizing it into client time. You're going to organize that into admin time, coaching, training time for your team if you have a team, as well as things like manager meetings if you have a team, weekly manager meetings. So this schedule is basically like an average week that you would have in your life. Now, of course, things are going to come up, and maybe in the summertime there's going to be at least a couple of weeks that are going to be not your average week, no problem. But what I want you to wrap your head around is that you want some sort of rhythm to your week. It just really helps keep you sane. So for work, you're going to split it up into client time, admin time, coaching training time with your team, manager meetings, anything else that you can think of as far as how you like to break things down for work. And what you want to do is figure out what times in the schedule you are going to schedule those aspects. Now, if you're kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person, this is going to be difficult. But I guarantee you, if you're a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person, you're not feeling very organized. So if you want to get organized, if you want to complete tasks, you're just going to have to change your habits. I'm not going to suggest any other way. It's just, you just have to make a decision. Okay, so you decide what times for the schedule you want for each of those things in your work. The next part of this is deciding how your personal time is going to be broken down. So for me, I don't know if you can see it very well. I know it's backwards, but the yellow is what I block off for coaching clients. The green is what I block off for creating content. Like, I just quickly put this together because I actually have this digitally on Google Cal. Purple is my personal time. So I've got teenagers, they're older now. I don't need to be as hands-on with them as I once was when they were little. So I have a lot more free time on my hands, which is fantastic. So in your free time, with all of these aspects, color code them, because it makes it so much easier to just have an at-a-glance visual for what you're supposed to be working on. But with your personal time, that includes date nights with your love. That includes taking kids to swimming lessons. Maybe that's your yoga class. Maybe there is, maybe you guys have family time on Sundays. That's organized specifically. Maybe it's Sunday afternoon. You guys go out and do something together. Whatever you do on a regular week with your schedule, with your family, put it into your time blocking. Now, the reason why I want to do this, because it feels like sometimes when we've got a lot on our plate, it feels like we may not be able to get it all done. And when you consciously go through a schedule like this, blocking it out, color coding it, you get a great visual of, what it looks like. But it also is, once you get that good visual, it allows you to see where there's some gaps in it. So maybe you realize you haven't actually put down any you time. So you make sure you've got you time in there. For me, from 7 to 8 is I've been taking my dog Hazel for a walk in the mornings. Sometimes, 6:30 to 7:30, I'll read. Sometimes I will, go hunting for articles that I find interesting. But from 7 to 8, that's kind of my time that I've blocked off for me to do what I want to do. I also have been recently blocking off time to specifically for reading in the afternoon when I finish work. So I finish the work off at 4 o'clock, and now that it's a little warmer outside, I go sit on my patio and open up my book. So sometimes it's a nonfiction, it has to do with work, or I'm very much into women and women's spirituality and the rising of the divine feminine. So that's been a lot of my books have had to do with that this past year. But I've blocked out time for reading because it's important to me. And I was finding last year that I wasn't reading as much as I wanted to. So I made it a priority. I put it in my time blocking. So it's not that complicated to do time blocking. It's just, it's making conscious decisions about how you want to spend your time. Now, the other piece of that is once you have decided what your schedule is for the week, for personal and for business, then you got to stick to it. Don't bother doing this if you're not going to stick to it. But I can guarantee you, if you stick to your time blocking, if you protect especially, if you especially protect the time blocks for your admin time, the time blocks to work on your growth projects, if you protect that like a mama or a papa bear, whoever's listening, then I guarantee that you will finish your growth projects much, much quicker. And what I mean by protecting like a mama bear is that when a client calls to book and they're like, oh, can I have, Monday at 10 a.m. and you've got that blocked off for your admin time to do your growth project, or maybe it's your time to do payroll, you don't take the appointment. You protect it. I'm sorry. Is there another time I can get you in? Same thing with personal asks. If you're getting a lot of personal asks from friends or family and it's cutting into your family time, your you time, and your work time, or it's just stretching you too thin, say no. It's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence. I know you've heard that before, but it's true. Sometimes we just need to be reminded of it. And sometimes we just need to be reminded that your priorities matter. They're not going to matter to anybody else. They're your priorities. So this has to do with kind of shifting into boundaries a little bit. So if you start feeling like, if you've decided to, okay, I'm going to do this time blocking, see how it works, and you're getting challenged as far as protecting your time, then that's a good thing, because then you're practicing a new muscle for creating new habits. So that is my tip and my tool for you today, is using a time blocking schedule to reorganize your priorities and to be able to finish those growth projects or whatever you have prioritized in your business that you want to get done and have that extra time with. If you're struggling to carve out time, it just means that you haven't had enough structure as far as time, and maybe you haven't been protecting those time boundaries like you need to be. You're worth it. Put those boundaries in place. All right, if you want that time blocking schedule, again, just pop it in the comments. Tell me that you'd like to have it, and I will send it off to you via Facebook Messenger. All right, thanks for joining me again for another week of Spa Business Break, and I will be here next Thursday, same time, same place. I have one more spot left in the Spa Business Labs for Monday. We start June 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you've been sitting on the fence, if you've been watching me and you're like, oh, I don't know, now's the time to make the decision and join us, because these ladies are going to get stuff done this summer and off their plate so they can get moving on to other things like earning revenues, hiring teams that work with you in the culture that you want. There's all sorts of stuff that we could be working on. Marketing is going to be a really big one. I already know that I think 3 of the girls in there are already planning to work on their fall marketing for September. It's going to creep up on us before we know it. I can't even believe that we're almost at June. So you know this happens every single year. You know that September's quieter, except you kind of leave it. Maybe you're hoping that things are going to change. They just don't. So if you want to put together your fall marketing plan with some strategy and some support and some accountability and some momentum, so you are not leaving your growth projects halfway finished, then take up this last spot for the Spa Business Labs. I'll put the registration link in the up part here. Okay, thanks guys. See you next week.